Hey everyone, it's Sherry Wind. Welcome to week 3. I hope you've had a good 2 weeks to get yourselves introduced and comfortable with the flow of the class and a little bit of the course content. So after finishing up chapter 1, where we again began laying our foundation for looking at some of the history of how we've defined abnormal behavior, mental illness in the past, to more contemporary understandings of how we understand normal behavior versus abnormal behavior. Our first discussion and reflection essay asked you to speak about that. And then in chapter 2, we spent the week looking at models, and you guys had a really vibrant conversation about what models made the most sense to you. And that's really what, again, this class is about. You probably came into this class with an understanding of human behavior, but now that understanding, I'm assuming, is broadening to get a better sense of all the different perspectives of how they do look at mental illness through, again, different lenses. It changes the questions we ask. It changes the view of how we're going to assess, diagnose, and treat. Which brings us to chapter 3, which is a chapter that we do understand all the different tools of assessment. Somebody comes to see you. What is going on with them? What is the information you need to gather to make a really clear and accurate assessment? We use interviews. We use different kinds of tools. Some of you might have heard of the Rorschach test. We're going to talk briefly about that type of projective testing, or just filling out a bunch of questions to estimate or evaluate somebody's level of depression or anxiety. Once we assess, we go into a diagnosis. Does this person's symptoms match a diagnosis in the DSM-5? And you'll get a sense of what the DSM-5 is. It's sort of our mental health dictionary. It's like an encyclopedia of mental disorders that has over 300 different mental disorders. And then once we do or don't come to a diagnosis, and remember also many individuals with mental health illnesses and challenges might have more than one disorder. Some people might have depression and anxiety. People with anxiety disorders tend to have several anxiety disorders. So just keep that in mind in the diagnosis step. And then once we assess, diagnose, then we come up and design some kind of an effective treatment plan for what's best for this client who presents with these symptoms. So that's what chapter 3 is going to be about. After that, then we start the different categories of disorders. We'll begin with anxiety disorders and move forward with stress disorders, mood disorders, and so forth. So again, welcome to week 3. I hope you have a great week. I just want to briefly talk about this research paper that is being shown up here on your screen in this video. So this is not due this week. The due date for this paper is June 19th at 7 o'clock p.m. And it's a chance for you to choose a topic that you like in terms of the different categories of disorders. So here's your topic of disorders. You have 6 different options. And this is going to be really looking at treatment specifically. How do we treat anxiety disorders, mood disorders, schizophrenia, and so forth? So you have 6 options. Choose a topic that you're interested in, that you want to become more of an expert in, whether that's something more personal or something that you're just curious about in general. From there, once you choose a top topic, step 2 is to choose 3 articles from an FRCC online databases, which you just go to the libraries on D2L, and you'll find, and you can click and go into our online database system that you have free access to. One of the 3 articles must be an experiment, which means they tested it. Group A got this treatment, Group B got this treatment, and the experimental treatment, let's say, was Group A. They did better than those in Group B. So we can say with confidence that treatment A is better than treatment B. All 3 of your articles can be experiments, but minimum of 1. And then just briefly, a couple more points, and I'll wrap up here. Third, you're going to write your paper. Of course, you need some kind of thesis statement, a summary. You're going to need lots of data, specifics of the experiment or experiments. You need 3 in-text citations where you borrow information to offer more credibility to your paper. An intro and conclusion, of course, and it must follow APA style. When you're putting the paper together, your title page is page 1 for this paper. You do need an abstract, and all the information for abstracts can be found on D2L. You need 4 pages of content, and your 7th page is a reference page where you'll list those 3 articles that you choose. Students always are curious, can you use more articles? Certainly, but a minimum of 3, a minimum of 1 experiment. And just lastly, just make sure you're looking at the rubric that lists how this paper will be graded. 50 points for content, and 25 for more skills, talking about title page, abstract, APA style, and so forth. So make sure you're looking at that as you're writing your paper. So again, find a topic from that list of 6 different disorders or categories of disorders that you would like to learn more about. So I'm past 5 minutes. I'm going to wrap up. So again, stay in touch. Let me know if you have any specific questions about the research paper. Look forward to seeing you guys online soon. Thanks.